Hi, Adrian. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, Tim. Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure to have you on. And today we're going to speak about Pariplay and a few key topics for the company. To start off with, I wanted to ask you about yourself and how you reflect on your time as Pariplay MD over 6 years in so far, as I understand.
It's been very interesting and very exciting. You know, over the 6 years of me joining the company, when I joined the company, it was really a fledgling company trying to find their feet, trying to find their business model. And later on, roughly a year and a half ago, the company was purchased by Spire Global. And of course, this has changed the way that we do business a lot. And it's very exciting.
What have been your main kind of learnings and takeaway points in the role?
I think that the one thing that has been very instrumental in Pariplay's position today is building a very good management team. I think that having a good team of support, really understanding the aspects of each part of the business has been probably the biggest learning or, biggest success that we've managed to do as a company. And I think that the execution of all the ideas, because you know, ideas are easy to come up with. I think the big challenge is turning these ideas into reality and scaling the business. And of course, with the right management in place, this is something that's been made possible in Pariplay and resulted in the fantastic growth that we've had.
On this same topic, but obviously bringing in the fact that you mentioned that the takeover earlier, how did the Aspire Global kind of coming in, that influence, how did that impact kind of your experience and you know, how things have gone at Pariplay?
So first of all, Aspire has been a fantastic new customer for Pariplay and definitely added to the value. And I think that putting together the buying power of the group and the support of the group has definitely influenced, you know, the type of content that Pariplay can now access and the relationships that we have. Of course, you know, having a reasonably sized business behind you definitely gives an impact in the communication strategies that other companies have towards you. So that's had a very big impact. In terms of the strategy of the business, we've been helped a lot by the various stakeholders on the board represented from the Spire Group that have definitely impacted on a product level, have definitely impacted on a commercial level. So the assistance in support that they've given us on decision making has been fantastic. And I really think it has changed the shape of the business, really from going from startup thinking into a position of how do we think about scaling this business, going globally and taking on the challenges that we have with the confidence of having somebody like Aspire behind us.
Using that platform, you know, I imagine, and you guys have made it clear kind of recently, you've got kind of big plans moving forward. Moving forward, what are Pariplay's main goals and what are the kind of key areas you're looking at?
So I think that I would probably split it into two pieces. How do we take our existing business and continue to scale and deliver upon that? And the second piece is where do we see the growth coming from in the future? So I think we're very much a firm believer on the European business. So we have no vision to say we're happy where we are in Europe. Let's move on to greener pastures. So we're still very focused on how do we grow the European business? Which operators are we missing in Europe? How can we engage in them? What is required to succeed in the European business from a product perspective and from a regulatory perspective, of course, with all the regulated markets coming about, Germany being one of them. So Pariplay is very, very committed to expanding the European business. We've just been awarded, by the way, our Greek license as well. So we're very committed to growth in Europe. And of course, one of the biggest parts of Pariplay's growth is, of course, our service levels. So we're very focused on how we can continue to deliver very good service levels while the business is growing at quite an extreme pace. So the big part is how do we continue to grow in Europe? And of course, outside of Europe, we have two main opportunities that we really need to support. One is the purchase of BTO Bet by the Spire Group. It's a very exciting opportunity for us. We're looking very much forward to supporting BTO's aspirations, supplying them content, getting them some new content that perhaps they didn't have access to previously, and really helping them make their lives easier and scaling their business as they've joined the Spire Group. And last of all, of course, we have magnificent aspirations in the US. We're live in New Jersey recently. We've been awarded the license in West Virginia. We look forward to going live in West Virginia soon. We're in application already for Pennsylvania and for Michigan. And we have, which is probably obvious, a lot of discussions going on around how we can continue to expand our position in the US and become a major player in the US. So I would say that that's probably the main points where we're focusing as an organization.
Yeah, absolutely. And the US, we can't fail to mention the US. Obviously, you've touched on your plans there, and the ball is very much kind of rolling. But how does Pariplay aim to stand out? Because the competition obviously is fierce in the US, and we've had a lot of big names who either still haven't really made their move or are just starting to. And then you have companies who kind of have that maybe early mover advantage as well. Given kind of all those factors, how are you aiming to stand out?
So I think for Pariplay, we don't have a secret sauce. We don't. It's not we have one game that we believe that this game can be a make or break position in the US. I think one of the ways that Pariplay has succeeded in Europe very much is simply by grinding away and delivering what we know how to deliver. We know how to deliver very, very good service. We know how to deliver solid reliability, and we know how to be flexible on every level, be it a business level, be it a technical level. And I think this is why we've managed to succeed so much in Europe, because companies enjoy working with us. We make life easy for companies and we support their growth. The plan in the US is to execute exactly in the same way. I don't think we're going to get 20 operators on day one because we have one killer game. I think we're going to get one operator at a time, and slowly, those operators are going to look at Pariplay and say what a pleasure it is to work with us. And we're going to deliver on the service, and we're going to deliver on the commitment that we give to them, and be transparent in our business. And slowly, that business will expand. This is what I imagine. Mm-hmm. We are working very, very hard strategically to bring some fantastic content into the US. We think through our product, which is Ignite, we can leverage some great relationships that we already have in Europe and bring some European content into the US to support our ambitions. But I think it's for Pariplay a long-term game. And we will continue to grind away at the market and just deliver what we know how to deliver. And that will result in us taking our position in the US and our share in the US market.
Sure. Just to expand on that point, if that's okay, you mentioned kind of the consistency and strategy. Is there anything you're going to be doing strategically that will be kind of quite different? Because obviously Europe and US, it's a gambling market, but obviously there are differences.
So we will be delivering our portfolio of tools into the US, which will have an added value. I think that the position of the platforms in the US is a little bit less sophisticated to that of Europe. So where we do have a fantastic tournament tool, some of the operators in Europe have developed their own tools and set of retention tools, where in the United States, it feels that those platforms are a little bit behind. And these tools, I think, can be a fantastic offering for them and really help them engage with their players. So we will be delivering the suite of tools. And, I talk a lot about the service and the ease of working with Pariplay. In Europe, the service and the ease of working with Pariplay is more based on technical restrictions. It could be that certain operators that we have a little bit more legacy platforms, and it's a little bit more difficult for them to launch content. Some of them, it may be on an employee level, they're a new operator into the business, and taking care of some of the QA and some of the operational processes. I think the secret for the US for Pariplay will be on overcoming the regulatory challenges that the operators have. Today, there are a lot of challenges in terms of launching a game, launching a vendor, launching any kind of promotion. There is a lot of regulatory work around this. We will be working extremely hard to try and find the secret sauce. Can Pariplay take some of that weight off the operator and can we carry that weight for them? And I think if we can nail that, that will be the secret sauce that Pariplay will bring to the operators in the market.
That's the perfect segue really into my next question, because I was going to ask, as a supplier, how do you overcome the challenges posed by meeting different regulatory requirements in different markets? And of course, that's a question that applies in the US state by state, but also of course in Europe, where you'll have two markets, maybe the same product even, but very different regulatory requirements sometimes.
So the answer is based on two different aspects. First of all, you have the technical side, and second of all, you have the operational side. And probably the operational side applies a little bit more in the US. But if we focus on Europe, one of the things that we've done is all of our technology is I'm just trying to think of the right word, is pretty dynamic. That's probably the word that I'm looking for. So for us to implement some of these regulatory changes, especially in Europe, where you have, for example, spin time limitations, messaging, soft messaging, hard messaging. The important thing is, how easy is it for you to implement something on a multi-game level or on a limited to a specific market level? And the way that we've built our technology, both for our games and for our aggregation platform, is everything is extremely modular. So for us to implement these changes is extremely easy for us. I'm very happy to say that we've never had to shut down a game in any regulated market. We have a solution even for new upcoming Germany that will allow us to still engage all of our content, our entire portfolio of games, which is fantastic. And we've always managed to do it in time, even though we're a pretty small team. And this is because of our technological superiority and our extremely modular build-up. That being said, it's only half of the puzzle, because at the end of the day, you do need to apply for licensing in a lot of these jurisdictions. You do need to apply certain policies. For example, in Switzerland, you need to be ISO compliant, which is not something easy. In other markets, you need to submit every game. In other markets, you need to have every relationship approved, such as Gibraltar. So you do need to have the operational pieces in place in order to support this and to be seamless. And that's something that I think that we've done a fantastic job. We have an amazing management team, as I mentioned before. Everyone has a great relationship, and we really simply just flow. We just know how to get stuff done. We're very much startup minded. If something's lying on the floor, somebody's got to pick it up and run. And we do that really, really well. So going into the US, I think it's more operational. But the size of our team really tells me that we're succeeding. We have a compliance team of 2 or 3 people and a product compliance team of 1 or 2 people. And we've managed to have everything approved in New Jersey seamlessly. We get feedback from the regulator that Pariplay is an absolute pleasure to deal with. We've never had to face any challenges. So I think that we're good. I don't think that we're perfect. I think we can always improve, and it's something that we aspire to do on a daily basis, to always see how we can get better. But dealing with these regulatory changes, we seem to have managed to find a good place for Pariplay, that we regulated in every market in Europe. We're approved in Canada. We're now approved in the US. We've got games live in Colombia. And we're just really exploding in all the regulated markets.
Along similar lines, and I understand this is a little bit different for a provider as opposed to an operator, but how can you ensure your products allow for kind of responsible and safe gaming?
I think that it's based on 2 things. First of all, from a games perspective, the best that we can do is follow the laws and not try and circumvent the laws, and respect the concept of responsible gaming. So when certain requests come in on messaging and things like that, we always support that. We also don't try and come with secret tricks of how we can abuse players. We're just not that kind of company. We don't think to ourselves, how can we exploit people? We just try and build great games. We try and build great products, follow the law, and give great service, and that recipe works for us. On the product side, we are really thinking outside the box. So on our tournament tool, we've done some great things. One of the things that we did is we understood that we don't want to give a benefit to players that spend more. Most of the tournaments that are running are either based on bets, or on play volume. The more you play, obviously, the more you would win in terms of spending. So what we did in our tournament tool is we built a feature that would take the bets and divide it by the wins, which means if a VIP was spending £100 and winning 50, and a newbie was spending £1 and winning 50 pence, they effectively would get the same point. And this really averages out the opportunity for players. So, this kind of thinking that says, how can we make it as fair for everybody and try not to give an edge to people that spend more? This is really what we do within our products.